Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is 3-Chord Dave. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like, comment down below what you think about the topic of this video. Today, I think, we could all use a little bit of uplifting music and cheer in our life with what's going on around the world right now. So why not listen to the blues? Or guitarists who are very heavily inspired by the blues, at least. So I thought I'd put together my 5 guitarists that I'm listening to that I think you should listen to as well. You might disagree with me. You might have other guitarists that you think are worthwhile listening to. Now, these are not necessarily guitarists that are unknown or seldom heard. These are quite popular guitarists, but I think also Jimi Hendrix isn't on the list. Jimmy Page isn't on the list. Eric Clapton's not on the list. So those are all great guitarists, of course, in their own right, and people who you should definitely listen to and have on your playlists. But what I decided to do is put 5 guitarists together who I like listening to. I'll just stick on a YouTube playlist or just a couple of videos of them playing live, or some of their tunes are obviously my Spotify lists and stuff like that. Just when I'm out walking, trying to keep in shape. Round is the shape. The other thing I like to do sometimes if I'm writing something or if I'm just chilling out, I'll stick music on the old headphones here, and sometimes just keep it going and going from device to device as I go through my day. So let's get started. And the first one, yeah, that's right, it's Jared James Nichols. If you don't know Jared James Nichols, you're really missing out. Very raw, talented, bluesy rock guitar singer, songwriter, person. Amazing talent. The guy is just very, very cool. Looks a little bit like a Hangover on steroids, but also rocks out, so it's all good. His songs that I really like, something like Don't You Try, what's the other one? Take My Hand, 30 Days in the Hole. It's just got a really cool rocky blues vibe. Also, you might know him from his Epiphone signature model, which came out, I think it's called Old Glory or something like that. It's a 1 P90 pickup guitar. I think I've got a picture of it to put here somewhere. And basically he's a really cool young up-and-coming rock blues guitarist, and somebody who very much reminds me of how music used to be and how it used to make me feel like excited and just excited, basically. So that's it, James Jared Nichols. I always say it wrong. I always say James Jared. It's Jared James Nichols. And the next person on the list, it's Gary Clark Jr. And if you have not heard of Gary Clark Jr., where have you been living? On Mars? Under a rock? Something? Very cool dude who sounds authentically blues when you listen to him. Has a couple of really nice signature model guitars as well. In an Epiphone that came out a couple of years ago, which was really cool. And he does SG now, a 3 pickup P90 SG as well, I think. Really cool. Listen, he goes back a few years now, so there's some really great stuff out there. Obviously his Get Back? His cover Get Back by the Beatles, which was really popular recently, but he's got some amazing songs. He's a huge catalogue. Look, I'm not going to tell you which Gary Clark Jr. Songs to listen to. What I want you to do is just put them on your playlist and just dig it. It's going to be cool. Also, as you can tell, the guy just looks like a cool guitar player, and he's got it all, man. If I could look that good wearing a hat, I'd never stop wearing a hat. So and he rocks out as well, and he's very, very popular with other musicians. He's played with the likes of the Foo Fighters, the Black Keys, and Gary Clark Jr. is supposed to be going on tour soon, although who's actually going on tour at the moment, we don't know. If you're going to pick songs like maybe Buddha, I'm just looking at a list of different songs here to pick up. The ones, Bright Lights, great song, Bright Lights, and Catfish Blues is really good. Check all of these artists out on YouTube doing live stuff, by the way. That's where you really see how great a musician somebody can be. Now, speaking of how great a musician can be and how everything that you dream about can actually come true. There's a guy who is every guitar nerd's like dream come true. Like you don't dream about him, you just dream that you wish you could be this guy, even if you don't know who he is. It's Joe Bonamassa. And if you do not know how much of a nerd Joe Bonamassa is, check out this picture right here. He's a nerd, and he's a guitar nerd, and he's a fucking awesome guitar player. Frequently seen, of course, in the Norm's Rare Guitar videos on YouTube, bringing in guitars, setting up guitars, dealing with Norm, and the dude knows more about vintage guitars than probably anybody. And the great thing is, and I like to think, you know, if I was a famous rock star or blues guitarist or something and I had a lot of money, I would spend a lot of that money on guitars, and that's exactly what Joe Bonamassa does. And the great thing is, he's not just a collect stuff guy, leave it in a closet and hope no one ever touches it or sees it. He's a buy it, bring it out on tour and play it on stage so people can see it kind of guy. He is responsible for some amazingly brilliant signature models with both Gibson and Epiphone, where people have been able to pick up really cool guitars spec'd out to vintage original specs. There's an Epiphone Joe Bonamassa 60s available at the moment as part of the standard line, I believe. So that's going to be available long term, which is why I believe they're going to bring out a Slash collection probably next year. Wait and see, or make an announcement when Summer NAMM should have happened, but that's for another video. The other thing you need to look at here for Joe Bonamassa, of course, he's done a lot of collaborations and things like that. I love some of this stuff he's done live, again, I think where he shines the most. One of my favorite songs, and I have it on nearly every playlist I have on Spotify, is Just Got Paid, which of course is a cover. ZZ Top, I think, are most famous for it. And of course Joe Bonamassa has an excellent version live at the Albert Hall, is really, really good. I love the stuff he did with Beth Hart a few years ago, and which actually introduced me to Beth Hart as a singer and musician, so love her, she's great also. When it comes to Joe Bonamassa songs, there's just a million, because he plays a lot of old blues as well as his own stuff. Anytime I see Joe Bonamassa playing or live on videos or on shows or anything, I'll stick around and watch because he's just cool. I just love how he plays. An unbelievably great guitar player. If you're not listening to Joe Bonamassa, shame on you. Well, not shame on you, but like start listening to him and be fine. The next guitarist on the list is him. Can you see it in the frame? I'm not sure you can. It's Rory Gallagher, and the reason Rory Gallagher is on the list is because unbelievably there are still people who have not heard of Rory Gallagher. And if you are a guitarist, if you love the blues, if you're a rock guitar player, you love Rory Gallagher, you just don't know it yet. Rory Gallagher is an Irish guitar player, travelled the world. He was once offered the guitarist position that Ronnie Wood ended up taking in the Rolling Stones. He turned down the Rolling Stones. Has anyone else turned down the Rolling Stones? I don't know if they have. Rory Gallagher's best songs: Messing with the Kid, Tattooed Lady, Calling Card, Bad Penny, so many. I mean, A Million Miles Away, Bullfrog Blues, Shin Kicker, was Kickback City. Rory Gallagher is probably my favourite guitarist of all time, because he's amazing. He played the most beat up Stratocaster. If you've never seen Rory Gallagher's Strat, you're missing out. Now Fender do a replica of it. They say it's tonally and visually the same. It's not. If you look at what Rory Gallagher did, because the reason Rory Gallagher's Strat was so beaten up is because he was always tinkering with it, throwing in new pickups, taking them out, trying a new bridge, taking it out, putting new tuners on, even new nuts, new everything. It was just like, it was a play toy, and he'd play around with it as well. He's also famous for playing a Melody Maker, Gibson Melody Maker, and he had a few other like Dan Electros and stuff like that. So Rory for me is a quintessential blues guitarist. Seen everything he's done. I think the world lost Rory way too early. And you know, we have a festival here every year to celebrate Rory Gallagher. He's obviously has such an influence on rock music. Even still, I've heard people like Brian May and Slash and Eric Clapton, Keith Wood, all these people just say how Keith Richards, I should say how influential and how good Rory Gallagher was. And of course, there's that famous quote from Jimi Hendrix. He was asked who's the best guitarist in the world, and he gave two answers to this question. The first was Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, and the second time he was asked, he said, somebody asked him, what does it feel like to be the best guitarist in the world? And he said, I don't know, why don't you ask Rory Gallagher? So that's high praise, right? Jimi Hendrix thinks you're the best guitarist in the world. I think Rory was up there. You know, it's hard to say. But Rory Gallagher, if you're not listening to Rory Gallagher, stop what you're doing. Stop this video. Go check out some Rory Gallagher. He's great. Recently hit a top 10 album. 25 years after he died. That's awesome. All right, and on to our final guitarist. Now, I believe that there's a stigma out there, there's a belief that ladies cannot rock. And it's not true. And I'll tell you why it's not true. There's many awesome female guitarists or rockers. Think of Joan Jett, Suzi Quatro. You got people like Stevie Nicks. All these people rock. Okay, awesome music. And then you've got Orianthi. Orianthi? I don't know how to pronounce her name. She's an Australian guitarist in her 30s right now who was set to be Michael Jackson's touring guitarist when Michael Jackson faked his own death and decided not to be in public eye anymore. Oh no, wait. We're not supposed to talk about that. No, when Michael Jackson, unfortunately, untimely, passed away. So she was ready for that big world tour he was going on, like one of the biggest world tours of all time. Or maybe it was not a tour, but like a residency in London or something. Michael Jackson was playing at it. She was his guitarist. The girl can rock out, I'm telling you. She went from that after not being able to obviously take part in those shows. She then joined up with Alice Cooper and rocked out in his band for a few years until she was replaced by Nina Strauss, who rocks also. So girls can rock. And man, you got to check her out. I think she's a way better, it's a way better experiencing watching her live stuff. Because also, someone can correct me on this if I'm wrong. Leave it in the comment after you subscribe and like the video. I think she's in a relationship, or was in a relationship, with Richie Sambora, who used to be in Bon Jovi, but is now not, because Phil X took that job. Whole other story there. I should do like a who used to be in bands videos, or who is not anymore in bands video. But anyway, she does a really cool version of stuff like, what's the Gimme Shelter from the Rolling Stones, where Richie's on stage. There's also a couple of people. One of the Allman Brothers kids is on stage. I'm just kidding. There's lots of cool people. She also does a version of Voodoo Child. I think it's kind of her go-to live thing where she does Voodoo Child. Now, for me, if you're not Jimi Hendrix, don't play Voodoo Child. It's not going to work. Although I've seen Slash play it a few times and it works well. But check her out. Check out her live videos. She's pretty cool. She always has a really cool PRS. It's not always the same one, but she seems to get the pick of the best PRS guitars, and that's what's not to like. One of the great things for me watching any guitarist play is checking out what they're playing, the guitars that they have. That's why I like Joe Bonamassa so much. It's why I like Gary Clark Jr. plays some really cool guitars, and they're not just like, it's not just a bog standard Les Paul or a Strat or anything like that. So guys, they're my 5 guitarists you should be checking out while we're all locked away and not really allowed to go anywhere except for like on a quick exercise walk or something, whatever the situation is in your area. I like listening to these people. I like especially listening to them live. Love to know your thoughts on who you listen to in the comments below. Specific guitarists if you can, and also tell me what you think of this lot and what they play and their gear, I suppose, especially in the case of Joe Bonamassa and maybe Gary Clark Jr. and their signature models, or Jared James Nichols too. So that's pretty much been it, guys. Thanks for checking in with me. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for subscribing, because that's important, and also for liking the video. It really helps out the channel. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.